Well, everybody, check this out. No, I haven't started a cooking show. No, I am simply, pardon me, responding to a challenge that was initially laid out by, almost blanked on the name. No, it was Guru and Wahoo. They issued the peanut butter and eggs challenge. And my good buddy, a surfer, did one and tagged me in it. So I figured I would start off this random Monday musings because no new magic set, but I wanted to get a couple things out of the way. So here's our peanut butter, not sponsored by anybody in particular. We got eggs that I just made. I should have done a cooking show. You know, I can actually cook a little bit. And then I have a little wrinkle because people would think, oh, this is going to be weird, but I honestly don't think it will be. There's a lot of combinations in nature, in food, I should say, that shouldn't work, but do. The old cheddar cheese on... Yeah, I'm just going to lay that right on there. The old cheddar cheese on a piece of apple pie. Nobody believes me, but it's actually quite good. So peanut butter and eggs, I don't see how bad this could be because we'll find out. But we got peanut butter, we got eggs, and let's see if I can flip this around. No, I'm going to have to stop it and then flip it around because, I don't know, raisins. Hold on. Okay, here I am. We got our Adam and Eve on a raft, peanut butter and eggs. Well, let's see. You know what? That ain't bad. Note to self, should have salted my eggs. Swing and a miss there. Hang on, I need a paper towel. All right, we're back. I'm actually quite enjoying that. I'm not going to lie. Get some more peanut butter on there. Well, we have the birth of something new. Like, I did not know if that would be as good as it was, but you know what? Yeah, egg and peanut butter. Although, now I'm going to flip the switch a little bit. He went, a surfer went, I couldn't tell what kind of jelly it was, or else he said it and I forgot, but I'll try to turn this around, but a little pepper jelly mixed with some wheat beer from a local PA brewery. Can't remember who. It's on there. I think it was Trogs, maybe? Either way, I'm a big fan of them, so why not? Little pepper jelly on some eggs and peanut butter. Do you really think this is what people who invented the internet had in mind for the internet? I don't know. Yeah, that's really good. I would take this over 40-year-old gum all the time. Maybe I'll put peanut butter on the gum next time I pull a bad pack from Jankland. All right, you know what? Highly recommend. Like I say, it's one of those things that shouldn't, in theory, work. Peanut butter and eggs, but it does. Mix that with, like I said, the old cheddar cheese on an apple pie, which if you haven't had, is very good. But then there's the one... the unholiest of combinations, mustard pickles. Has anybody out there ever had mustard pickles? I was warned, but in my mind I thought, oh, come on. We have hamburgers, we have hot dogs, we have sandwiches, they have mustard, and they have pickles at the same time. Found a store years ago that had mustard pickles, and it's nothing short of a war crime. So if you like them, you have violated the Geneva Convention. Now, mustard pickles are just an unholy alliance of awful. But peanut butter, eggs, and even any sort of jelly. Because think about it, when we were younger, you have eggs, you get maple syrup on eggs all the time. You know, you put them on toast. There's no reason this shouldn't be good, and it really wasn't. So, victory so far. Anyway, links to Guru and Wahoo down below. Link to Usurper down below. This was good. I'm going to finish my breakfast, and then I'm going to be back here in a couple minutes. We got one more thing to do. A couple more things to do. But you'll see. Stay tuned. And, yeah, I agree. Get yourself some peanut butter and eggs. Do it. Hello, everybody. Breakfast is over. That was good. Off camera, I put more peanut butter on that other piece of toast and finished off those eggs. You know what? Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that one. That's a good one. Stupid light. Will this work? Yeah, this should work. I'll just get a little closer. Haha. Take that. Next up, if you remember a while ago, I did the 10 random questions that were asked by Neil, now branded as Neil Collects. He did a round 2 of the 10 random questions. They're over here on my computer, so you're going to bear with me. I hope. Question number 1, and these are fun. Now, the first one, though, kind of an unfair thing. The question goes as such. If you could only have 3 channels, I'm assuming, or 3 YouTube channels to watch for the rest of your life, which 3 would you pick? Now, I thought about that, and honestly, I can't, in good conscience, pick anybody in the card community, because it's just, there's too many great channels out there that I enjoy, and I couldn't narrow it down to 3. So what I was going to do was go 3 random channels that I enjoy watching that aren't related to cards and comics and all that. And these channels are huge. They don't need any help. But if you haven't checked them out, they are fun. First, actually, it's First We Feast. They do a lot of cooking and food-related stuff, and they are the channel that started Hot Ones. Their new season popped up recently, and I just watched the Bryan Cranston one, and it was quite funny. So First We Feast, because they do a lot of different shows. Number 2 actually is a podcast. It's called Dark Histories. I'm a history fan. I absolutely love weird history. You know, my history by mails. Anytime I can learn something new, it's always good. And Dark Histories kind of go the stuff that you've never heard of, and it's really fascinating. So them, and the final one, just because I stumbled across it, actually a friend of mine recommended it, and it's a very good channel. It's Baumgartner Restoration. He does art restorations, like literally taking the frames apart of old, like 16th, 17th, 18th century paintings and showing how to restore them. That is really fascinating. It's something I don't know anything about, but it's really cool. Question number 2. If you were walking down the road and found $50, what would you do with it? Well, honestly, I'd pocket it. You know, if somebody, you have to figure this. If there's, let's say, a $50 bill laying on the street, you've come across it, which implies that it's been there for a little bit. Nobody's looking around for it. Nobody's coming to claim it. You know, free money, free lunch, I say. And honestly, though, but $50, especially depending on where you live, not really going to buy you that much. Number 3, have you ever traveled out of the country that you live in? Yes, not in a while. The last time I actually left the U.S. was 2017. I went up to Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, and it was right around the 4th of July, but what I didn't realize is I got up there on Canada Day, so July the 1st, And 2017 was the 150th anniversary. Still bummed I couldn't get one of those shirts. But travel, yes. Been to Canada, been to Mexico, Italy, England. I say England because it was just England, not the rest of the UK. Where else have I been? I think that might be it. No, there was something in the Caribbean years ago, and I cannot recall where. I think maybe British Virgin Islands or American. I honestly can't recall, but I have been down there at some point. Number 4, if you were in one natural disaster of a tornado, hurricane, wildfire, or an earthquake, pick one. Well, a lot of that depends on where am I? Where am I in the country? Here in New York, and just in the Northeast in general, don't get a lot of hurricanes. We did get that Superstorm Sandy a few years ago. That was more downstate, New York City and New Jersey, but the effects came all the way up to Rochester as well. And I've been in North Carolina when there was a hurricane happening. Wildfire, no, not even close. You couldn't pay me enough. Earthquake, there's been a couple earthquakes in New York and Pennsylvania. It was a little weird because it's not supposed to do that out here, but not the end of the world. But with the potential of that, no, especially if I'm in California, pass. Weirdly enough, though, have seen a couple tornadoes run through Pittsburgh and western Pennsylvania. It's weirdly creepy how pinpoint accurate those things can be. Like, I did see a tornado apparently went up one side of the street, not the other. And I'm talking your standard residential street. It just tore up one side and not of the other. But of all the 4, oh God, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say tornado, simply because it's a lot more accurate, it's a lot smaller, and they are getting pretty good at giving out warnings. Hurricane, what are you going to do? That can take up many states. Tornado is a small area. That's my weird answer. I don't know. I'm curious about anybody else that wants to jump in on these. I've seen some great answers. Number 5, what superpower would you like to have? Well, this kind of goes back to the thing I did for Alex Big Blue and the underrated comic characters, and I would think Gambit's power, simply because he has the power to weaponize anything. So, for example, like here, I just reach over, here's my handy-dandy, almost empty roll of Gorilla Tape. He could turn that into a projectile weapon. Handy. Handy in all situations. Have you ever had road rage is question number 6. Well, that's like asking, have I ever driven? So, yes, everybody who's driven has had road rage. 99.9% of the time, it is... Ooh, did I get out of focus? How did I do that? 99.9% of the time, it is due to somebody else. Question number 7. What is the craziest thing I've done in my life? I don't know. I mean, you have to define crazy. Like, idiotic, stupid, foolhardy? That could be playing football when I played in the 1990s. Not the smartest thing in the world. I can't really say. I mean, I'll get into situations, but nothing, I guess, too crazy. I don't know. I'll have to think about that and come back to that at some point. But really, I can't think of anything super crazy. Been to a bunch of places, but never just like all of a sudden decided, oh, I'm going to go off the beaten path and just wander through this city that I know nothing about in a country where I don't speak, or where I can't communicate with anybody. Haven't done anything like that. Question number 8. If you had to lose an arm or a leg, what would you rather? This is weird, but I think for me personally, it would be arm. Because I have kind of gotten used to that. Years ago, when I had to have neck surgery, there was an issue where the disc in my neck was pushed out, hardened, and it pressed off on the spinal cord, which basically cut off circulation to my right arm. So for several months, I basically couldn't use my right arm for anything. And I got around okay. It was a pain because it was my right arm and I'm right-handed. But I don't know. I think a leg would just be a lot harder. Either way, I know that just either would be bad. But I think for me personally, I think I would have to go the arm. Question number 9, penultimate question, and my phone is blowing up with all sorts of things. Do you believe in reincarnation? That one kind of goes back to the first one Neil posed of, I think, do you believe in ghosts? Do I believe in reincarnation? I don't know. Again, it's one of those things, there's a lot of, unexplainable things that happen where, some people have a weird innate knowledge of something that they weren't alive for or shouldn't have any knowledge of. Do I believe in it? I don't know. Possibly. A lot of people do believe in it. So who am I to say no? All I'm going to say right now is I don't know. It could, but I don't think we'll ever truly know for a fact. And the final question, Apple or Android? Android. I haven't used an Apple product in years. I think the last time would have maybe been the mid-90s when the computer lab at our school had a lot of Macs. And that's it. I never did like the one-button mouse thing. So, yeah, Android. Been an Android user ever since. The phone I have now is Android. Well, obviously you don't get a Android PC, but my computer is Windows. I don't know. Just haven't used Apple in a long time, and I'm so far out of the interface that I couldn't figure it out if I had to. The weird thing is most of my family and a lot of my close friends are iPhone users, and I've tried to help them with stuff, and I just cannot figure it out. So round 2 of the 10 questions is in the books, and I like these because it gives a lot of people a lot more knowledge into whomever answers them. Hopefully I haven't driven a lot of people away with my strange answers, but I want to close this off. Again, like I said before I ate my breakfast, which again was very good. Because there's no Magic set coming out until the 10th, I just wanted to put something because I like doing stuff on Monday, and I figured this is the perfect time to do it. But I will be back with that after, because the new Phyrexian is being released, like I said, on the 10th, and I'm going to hopefully get a box of that and do an opening. That's going to be fun. I've seen the articles. That set looks good. But now, a few random musings. Recently, pardon me, the other day it was Groundhog Day, February the 2nd, and then the legend of Punxsutawney Phil in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. If you've never been there, it's a town. Had there not been that groundhog thing that they started doing back in, 1886, I believe. Although I think they say the first time they used it, it was a badger, not a groundhog or a woodchuck. Same animal, by the way, groundhog and a woodchuck. But a friend and I were talking about it, and Phil did see his shadow, which means 6 more weeks of winter. Cursed rodent. And if he doesn't see his shadow, quote-unquote, early spring. But then you get on, because I was thinking about it, it's like, how many Phils have there been? You get on to the Pennsylvania Groundhog Club, I think that's what it's called. They have the Phil FAQ. No, apparently I was wrong this whole time. There has been one Phil. Just one. Started in 1886. Phil's looking pretty good for, what would that be, 1886, being 137 years old? That's about 75 times the average lifespan of your standard groundhog. But it's hilarious. We're talking Illuminati tier lore. Phil has been around since 1886, has nailed 100% of his predictions, and every summer, they give Phil one sip of the secret elixir of life that apparently can only be made by a bunch of guys in top hats in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. And every summer he gets a sip of it, which gives him an extra 7 years of life. So if each sip gives him 7 years, why does he need to take it every year? Also, apparently Phil is married to Phyllis. But Phyllis doesn't get the elixir of life. Why do they torture Phil? Why? Why do they torture Phil like that? I don't know. Random musings. I'm full of peanut butter and eggs, and, these are the crazy things that happen, so. That's just a random musing on this Monday. Good old Punxsutawney Phil. But again, Punxsutawney is a cute little town. I wouldn't dare go near there on February 2nd. Now, that's got to be jammed solid. But if you're ever passing through Pennsylvania and happen to find yourself near Punxsutawney, it's worth it just to go check it out. Not sponsored by them, it's just a neat little town, and I like little towns. So, that's going to do it. We had all kinds of good stuff. Peanut butter and eggs, which actually is a good new combination. Mixed with the pepper jelly, I kind of wish it was spicier. Not going to lie. So, thanks to I just blanked on the name. Guru and Wahoo. Link to them down below. A Surfer for tagging me in it. His link is going to be down below. Neil Collects. Link to him down below. And, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Illuminati Punxsutawney Phil? Keep a lookout, because he's coming. Anyway, that's going to do it for this, whatever I'm doing. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully for some TTM action. Take care, everybody.